Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and today you join me with the Alfa Romeo Tonale Veloce here. This is the top spectrum of the Alfa Romeo Tonale you can get in the United States, and we just drove the Dodge Hornet last month, so I have a pretty good idea of what that still felt like and how this feels like. One big difference here is that Dodge Hornet was the pure gas version, and this is the plug-in hybrid Tonale, which is the only version of the Alfa Romeo Tonale that you can get in the United States. Now, they do look pretty similar around the exterior, though the front ends of the Tonale and the Hornet are completely different, as well as the wheels and some of the body trim. And shockingly, this drives a little bit different as it is a plug-in hybrid, but remember, you can get the Hornet as a plug-in hybrid as well. So what makes the Alfa Romeo Tonale unique? Let's go find out in this video, as well as my impressions over this past week. Under the hood is this interesting plug-in hybrid powertrain system, which combines a 1.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, as well as a 15-ish kilowatt-hour battery pack and a rear electric motor. And I say rear electric motor as this has all-wheel drive, meaning that rear axle is only powered by an electric motor. The front axle is powered by the engine and the 6-speed automatic transmission. And this engine, of course, can be used to charge the battery pack to provide that full 285 horsepower. EPA says around 33 miles of only electric range, which I do actually believe, and there is a pretty decently sized onboard charger to recharge this battery pack at around 2.5 hours on a full level 2 system, which isn't too bad for a plug-in hybrid. You can see all the packaging under this hood here where the 4-cylinder is, and there's a little bit some stuff that has been moved around versus the Hornet. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same. And again, you can get the same powertrain on the Hornet as well, but this obviously is going to be in a little bit of a different shape of a look inside and out. Here we can see it in this Alfa Romeo red paint. Really nice, gorgeous color. You can get it in a few different colors as well. Up front here, we can see the really unique bits of the Tonale versus the Hornet. As this car originally was designed by Alfa Romeo, they kind of sculpted the whole body and the shape of it to kind of be their own from the get-go. So what do we have here? Up front are these unique new tri-lobo style lights. We have these 3 LED elements here, which are the daytime running lights, and behind them are your LED actual headlights there, low and high beams. You also have cornering lights in here, which are very nice. I think they look very distinctive and very nice on the market. You can also see this really gorgeously sculpted hood right here that blends right into Alfa Romeo's signature V-style grille shape right here. You can even see how the hood is sculpted around the Alfa Romeo badge, so they really did tailor this whole front end for this vehicle. Really like the dimensions and shape of this grille. It has this 3-dimensional view to it as well, which looks really nice. And it is coming in this blacked out trim, which looks really cool as well. Lower down here, you can see some sensors that are hidden behind this little radiator cover here, also kind of blend into that grille shape. And you have some kind of passive ventage going along the side of the Tonale, though I think this front end looks really fantastic, really distinctive, unique, and very Alfa Romeo. Coming around to the side here, I really like this wheel design, looks very premium. Nice machined finish here. We have some red Alfa Romeo brake calipers that do have the Alfa Romeo script on them. Really tight clearance though between those wheels and those calipers. Really interesting. I like these wheels as well, just generally fitting in the car. I think they do a nice job. And if you do notice here on the sides of the Tonale, you can see this blacked out body trim going across. This is painted black here with this kind of darkish finish, versus on the Hornet where you're going to only be able to get this in this kind of cheaper looking matte black plastic. Also on the side here, we have our Veloce trim badge, which looks quite nice as well in black. That black theme carries throughout all of the trim on the side of the Tonale, coming around to this really unique little Alfa Romeo electrified logo hiding underneath the rain here. You can kind of see it like that. It's this green logo, really cool looking. And that also brings us to the rear cargo space. So let's take a quick tour of that. Opening the rear cargo area, pretty simple. Power rear tailgate. I think I just locked the car actually. There we go. Nice power rear tailgate for us. Now the storage space in here isn't the most amount of space on the planet. Same thing goes with the Hornet. It's a little bit of a tighter environment. Do have some storage down here for your plugs and everything, but it's a little bit of a smaller space. Now you can fold these 2 seats down for a little bit more space, though that's not the best thing on the planet for storage. Thankfully, this is a power rear tailgate. Make that job nice and easy. Okay guys, let's go hop in the back of the Tonale. Now I had the same issue on this car that I did with the Hornet, where this kind of rear end piece sticks out just a little bit too much to the point where you can kind of hit your arm on this sometimes. Just one thing to look out for. Now, what do we have back here? Shocking, it's pretty much identical to the Hornet, though I do like this unique seat design you can get on the Alfa Romeos. I think you can actually get this on the Hornets in a different kind of style, but this weird kind of blend of this Dynamica with this unique pattern here. This is actually like a perforation, so this red material is behind this top layer. Really cool look, blended with leather. Let's hop inside. You can see here, my legroom is actually not too bad. I'm sitting behind myself. The seats themselves are sculpted well enough that I can fit back here. Decent amount of legroom, good amount of knee room actually. So not too bad with the space back here, though it is a little bit on the tighter end in general. You do have some storage back here as well as on your passenger side. Center console is pretty slim. You have these two air vents, a USB-C and A port, as well as a kind of air control there. So nothing too much going on back here, which is as expected for the class. And you can also see that material carrying over to these seats. Really nice looking material on here. It feels very premium, and you have that leather as well, contrasting that. This one does have a center package, thankfully, though it doesn't go all the way back. It really just goes to the back of the heads of the driver and front passenger. Back here, it's a little bit darker. You can see we have these LED lights and a little bit of a nice scallop out here to kind of fit your heads in it. I would say I have this much of headroom bay. Almost an inch, I would say, not a full inch, but it's not too bad. You can see your front cabin here. Back here also, it's going to get you this center console folding down with leather, two cup holders here, and that's about it for your amenities. No heated seats back here or anything like that. That nice material on the seats. The seats themselves very comfortable, good thigh support as well for the rear, and not bad with rear glass. You have a lot of space back here, so it doesn't feel super cramped, which isn't a bad thing at all. Let's go hop up front. Now, you do have keyless access on the Tonale. You do have a touch panel back here to open the door and you close it with this button. Power folding mirrors as well. Again, nice, that material carries over to the doors right here. But we do have some harder plastics up here. It is a little bit more soft touch, but not super premium. Nice Alfa Romeo aluminum side plate as well, which looks nice. And here you can get a better look of these seats. You can see with the Alfa Romeo badge and kind of embossed here. This is actually stitched into the headrest. Feels very premium and nice. Red stitching all around. And a really nice blend of that Alcantara Dynamica material in here. Let's hop inside. Love the graphics on this interior as well for the Tonale. Very nice premium feeling interior. And let's start it up. Now, unlike the Hornet, the stop button is actually on the steering wheel like other Alfa Romeos. And the Hornet has that moved over there. So let's turn it on. Power mirrors unfold and the vehicle comes to life. A little bit of a warning chime going on there, and here we are inside of the Tonale. So again, nice Alfa Romeo steering wheel here, good grips on here. This is pretty much lifted straight from the Giulia and the Stelvio. We also get these gorgeous metal paddle shifters, aluminum paddle shifters here. Real metal, they feel fantastic. Very nice clicking sound. So it's your upshift and your downshift over here. This controls your 6-speed automatic gearbox here. When you're kind of in like that dynamic mode, I would really use that the most. It actually works pretty well. Though this isn't, I guess, the real car that you'd want paddle shifters for, though it does add a nice touch. Like I said, the start stop button is on the steering wheel here. We also have all of our controls for our highway driving assist function. This has a full kind of highway driving assist features on here. And on our right hand side, we have our controls for our digital gauge cluster, as well as some volume and track tuning controls as well, which is very nice. This digital cluster is actually pretty nice of a cluster, and it's unique of a skin for Alfa Romeo. You can see we have this kind of simplified gauge here. We have a really simplified gauge here. Then we can go to these kind of unique style older Alfa Romeo gauges here, which kind of mimic their older vehicles. It even says Giri here instead of RPM, which is kind of cool. Nice looking gauges, and they do change depending on your drive mode. You can see our electric range on the bottom right, our fuel range, and then we have a blended information in the center. And all of this can be customized and changed by pressing these buttons on the steering wheel here. So I can make this really big, for example, and I can put in a map versus all these other different displays here. So I can load a map display. This is almost like an Audi virtual cockpit. It's really dynamic in its versatility and able to kind of customize all the different features in here. So I do like that. I do appreciate that. I like all the different information that you can get in this display. So good work on that in this vehicle. I also kind of like the more traditional style cockpit display. I believe they call it the Canio Chale. looks really nice. I kind of prefer it versus these giant plastered on screens that just cover the entire dash. It gives us more cockpit feel. You can also notice on here that this Alcantara material carries over onto the upper portion of the dash here with this nice red stitching. Feels very premium, very solid, good build quality in general. I like this unlock button with this little red indicator here. We have metal door pulls, which is nice, so a nice premium touch here. I will say this button doesn't feel the most high quality. Kind of hear some spring action going on there. I wish they kind of worked on that. But I do want to touch on this ambient lighting on here. Check this out. So this ambient lighting features a little bit right here, though carries throughout the entire dash. Let me just turn the interior lights off for you guys real quick. And you can see this really cool ambient lighting here. And you can change the colors. So right now it's blue, and you have a few other colors you kind of cycle through from, let's just go to our app page here. Apps, favorites, I believe I changed. There we go, ambient color. You have a few different color options right here. You have a green color. You can see there, you have a white, a yellow, as well as a red. You can also turn them completely off if you don't want to look at these colors whatsoever, which is nice, but I'm going to keep it on. So I think the red looks really nice, so we'll keep it on that for now. And that blends in the entire dash, and you can change the intensity of it as well, like I said, as just turn it off if you don't want to look at it whatsoever. Also in this interior, you can see we have our drive mode selector here, and we have 3 different drive modes. We have advanced efficiency down here. This is technically your pure EV mode, though if you are stepping on it hard enough, pushing it down onto the kickdown pedal, or if you need traction on those rear wheels, it'll kick on the engine. But generally, advanced efficiency is going to be for your EV driving. Then we go over to N, which is kind of natural mode. This is your blended kind of hybrid driving style situation. So it's going to prioritize your EV system, though the engine will be more likely to turn on half the time. Then we have full-on dynamic mode. You can hear the engine is going to kick on here. You can see our gauges got a little bit more aggressive throughout the mode. So here we have natural, here we have advanced efficiency, and then we're going to kick it right up to dynamic mode. And you can see the gauges get a little bit more aggressive. The engine is on and it's ready to go. Now in this mode, you can see in our vehicle modes here, we'll go to our eHybrid page. This mode is going to allow us to change our adaptive damper settings. So right now it's in the stiff dampers. We're going to put it into soft dampers, just like that. You can see here, we're actually charging the battery pack in dynamic mode. So it's going to make sure we have enough juice to kind of constantly pump out all the power at all times while also maintaining battery state of charge. And I think this is really cool display where you can see the power flow of the engine, the battery pack, and even the climate system and its draw on this electrical system, which is really cool. Very nice gauges and display there. And this is kind of how it works in dynamic mode. I really like that. Down here, we can see we have our separated climate controls here, that we do have a climate screen in here. This is where you're going to be able to access a few more information like your heated seats as well as your heated steering wheel. Unfortunately, this is buried into these menus, though you can press these little quick shortcuts up here. I don't know why things are not working today. Here we go. Some quick shortcuts for climate controls if you don't want to dive into the actual menus. Otherwise, you do have physical buttons down here for some more common controls. You see this nice slim air vent cluster here with our hazard lights, which is nice. And down here we have a nice big wireless charging mat with the Alfa Romeo logo right on there. Nice big shifter for our 6-speed automatic gearbox. Dedicated manual mode, though it will upshift if you're kind of on it and you're not shifting, just I think to protect the powertrain. We have a physical scroll wheel here for our volume and kind of a mute switch, as well as our electronic parking brake. Down here we have our e-save mode. So this mode is going to, when we put it on, or in normal mode, it's going to kick the engine on and we're going to be able to charge the battery. You actually have some e-save settings in here. So if I go to scroll down this menu, press e-save, you can see here the different settings you have for your e-save modes. We have battery save, battery charge. We can change different target battery set levels. So when we press that e-save button, which is pretty cool. You also have charging schedules, some driving history here. We can see our regenerative braking history, which is pretty interesting. And we can go right back to our power flow display there, which is cool. We also have an automatic parking assist, which is nice, as well as parking sensors you can turn off if you want to do that for some reason. Again, nice, decently sized sunroof over here for the front passenger and driver, though it doesn't really benefit the rear passengers that much. And again, nice kind of design and layout on the dash. We have these circular style air vents up here, which look quite nice. And generally, it's a decent interior. I don't know how about for like $50,000 like this one is. It's a little bit getting expensive here, but generally pretty good. Build quality isn't actually really that bad, though. I think the material quality overall could be a little bit better. Generally not bad though for this class. This is competing with things like the Q3 and X1 in that range of vehicles. Very slim center armrest here, decent amount of storage, not too big. And of course we do have an actual glove box in here, which is nice. Actually pretty decently sized glove box here. We can see our Monroney sticker as well, coming in at $52,790 on this particular one. Though you can lease these, I believe, with a $7,500 tax credit as of now, as long as that stands. Otherwise, guys, let's go take this thing on a drive so we can play around with this plug-in hybrid powertrain. Okay, guys, let's head off. We are in advanced efficiency mode now, which is technically our EV mode, though if we do go hard enough on the gas pedal, it will kick on the engine. We have auto brake hold on, and let's set off. You can hear a subtle EV whir in the background. Electric motor is very quiet in here. Cruising around the parking lot as well. This gives us a quick chance to kind of play with these drive modes. And we do have, of course, regenerative braking in the Tonale plug-in hybrid. Decent shifts from that 6-speed automatic gearbox. And you know, it's raining out today. We have really no issues with traction either, which is great. So that's really a good confidence in that powertrain operating together. And I actually really like this gauge here in the center. This is one of the options here in our cluster. And what it's doing is it's actually showing us what's going on with this powertrain. So it'll show us when our gas engine's on, as well as the EV powertrain, and which one is kind of propelling the vehicle forwards at which time and which one's being charged. So I like that little indicator of what's going on there. So I honestly do think Alfa Romeo had a really well thought out process here when kind of designing the EV side, or I guess like the electrification side of this powertrain. There's a lot of great information in here from our eSave charging status, which we can kind of customize in this eSave mode. We can put in save or charge mode, as well as adjust our different target levels for the battery pack. Power flow meter, it's a nice looking gauge as well. We can see what's going on there. So there's a lot of fun gauges and things to play around with. And I really like the Alfa Romeo little electric logo there, which is really cool. And it actually changes based on different conditions. So we're at stop now, so it's white. When we're moving in the electric mode, it's green. And when we have the gas engine on, it kind of changes a different color as well. So there's a nice, cool little things going on here with that, which I really like as well. The great thing with these plug-in hybrids is that when you're kind of going downhill like this, you're just gaining battery charge. So you're charging up the battery with the regenerative braking. And again, we're in that rear-wheel drive mode now, very light front steering. And when that engine kicks on and the engine is powering those front wheels, you definitely notice a change in that. And I'm pretty sure this uses the same steering rack and ratio as the Alfa Romeo Giulia and Stelvio. They kind of just ripped it out of that rear-wheel drive base architecture and put it into the Tonale, which is unique, as well as the Hornet. Though it feels a little bit more stiffer in the Hornet, just because the Hornet that I drove was the gas version, so obviously we're having power going to all four wheels at all time. A little bit more stiffer with that power going to the front wheels, felt a little more front wheel drive biased. This has that blend of having that rear wheel drive bias as well as front wheel drive and all wheel drive kind of bias at all times, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna pop it into dynamic mode here for you guys. Blind spot monitoring. And we can use the paddle shifters. We're in third gear now. It's a little slippy out though. I don't want to push it too hard. Pretty good grip. You know, it's not a performance vehicle, but it can handle its weight. And in dynamic mode, it definitely drives a bit more aggressively. With that stiffer suspensions now on. And the paddle shifters do work when you want to have fun with the car, which is nice. Now we're up to highway speeds here. A little bit loud on the highway. I believe this does have acoustically laminated glass, though it's still a little bit louder in here. Now, Alfa Romeo, when kind of developing this version of the platform for the Tonale, and I guess the Hornet as well, there's a lot of sound insulating material throughout the body. Now, I will say the Hornet did feel a little bit quieter actually to me, and that was a pre-production vehicle. This is a technically pre-production vehicle. I know the actual ones are on sale though in the media fleet. They're still pre-production vehicles. It's a little bit louder, of course, today with the rain, so you can kind of get a little bit of a feel for that. thankfully, so I want to test out this highway driving assistance system with you guys. Pretty easy to use, and it's a really good system actually. So on the left hand side of our steering wheel, we can pop on our modes. So active driving assist is ready. We can set our speeds. We also set our following distance. We have lane keep assist with the steering control, which is a very nice touch as well. And you actually have a dedicated gauge here in this center console to kind of view your active driving systems a little bit better here. You can see like that, and change our following distance like this. And now we have our steering assist turned on as well. And once the steering assist turns on, you can see it all will turn green here for you, which is pretty cool. So it knows that the system, you know that the system is activated. Now driving in natural mode here, you can see that our battery is being used over the engine. And we have 0 miles of range here, so the engine's probably going to kick on soon and will kind of act like a hybrid mode instead, which is pretty cool. Here we go, the engine just kicked on here. And now it's going to be charging the battery and powering the wheels. It's going to decide what mode it is. Now, these cameras have just gotten a little clogged again, you can see, and it turned off our active driving assist. No warning actually, it kind of just did it. It's a little bit dangerous, I think. If you have that mode on, I think there should be a little bit of a warning if it's going to disengage, other than just on the dash. An audible warning would be nice. And why those cameras are getting clogged, I don't know. So how has the Tonale been with living this week? And honestly, I haven't had any issues myself. I know some people are a little bit worried about reliability going forward. Yes, these are a new vehicle. It's Alfa Romeo. They may have a history of some questionable reliability on their vehicles, though I haven't had issues with these so far. It's a really unique vehicle, if I'm going to be completely honest. There really isn't a true, I would say, direct competitor to this in this class. It kind of operates in this kind of premium luxury segment. Though if you really want to directly compare it to something, I guess you can compare it to a RAV4 Prime or a Lexus NX plug-in hybrid. Those are a little bit bigger vehicles though. Anyways guys, this has been my week with the Alfa Romeo Tonale. I was able to charge it on a public charger actually using level 2, not DC fast charging. It's not capable with that, and no issues whatsoever. Just more issues with the charging networks as usual versus the vehicles. And yeah guys, it's definitely something to go check out if you're interested in it. If you like the Hornet more as well, pretty much identical vehicles, same powertrains, same kind of general feel, though just different looks. So you have really two options here in the US market, Tonale or Hornet on this platform, and both are pretty unique offerings. I think there's a lot of deals going on right now. Not a lot of people know what they are. Not a lot of people are, I think, interested in them as of yet. They just launched on the market still. And yeah guys, thanks for joining me again on this drive of a new vehicle. Stay tuned for more coming on Allcarnews as always, and cheers.